Okay, so Houston, Texas is fertile soil for high school football. And I knew that it was an athletic hotbed when we lived here before. When we came back from Buffalo, and I'm now in high school, that really became apparent more than ever. Dad could feel it. The Alief schools, Alief had been around a while, but it was now booming as a suburb of Houston. And there were two high schools. We went to the newer high school, Alief-Elsik, Linda and I, and it was right next to Alief-Hastings, big rivalry. It was growing. We were in the district with some powerhouses, Memorial High School, Stratford, that ended up winning state in 1978, and we were trying to compete with those people. And so there was a lot of pressure on the coaches at Alief-Elsik, and we just weren't very good. The class ahead of mine, graduated in 1979, was pretty good. And in fact, they thought they were really good until they actually were seniors, and they didn't do that great. But a lot of pressure, a lot of spirit, a lot of mojo going on. Parallel with that, I was little. As a freshman in high school, I was 5'2" and probably weighed 115 pounds. So I was game. I was willing to try hard, and Dad had instilled that in us, and I had had a successful Little League career. I'd been the quarterback at Sweet Home Junior High in 8th grade, but this was a different kettle of fish, and I was over my head physically. I did start to grow a little bit, but the spring game, so spring of 1977, was my freshman year, end of the year, and we were playing the blue-white game. And I was quarterback on offense, but on defense, you played both ways many times in those years. And I was a cornerback. And I don't know if they'll ever see this, but Ralph Flores was a big, rugged running back, and he came down the pike, and a big linebacker named Mike Skinner hit him and rode him down on top of my arm. I had slipped, and they fell right on my arm and just snapped it. Snapped both bones right there. Might be the worst pain I've ever felt. So went to Southwest Memorial Hospital in my full gear in the emergency room, my full football gear. Mm-hmm. And they dealt with my arm and got it in shape. We went into the summer, and it was getting close to August two-a-days, and they wanted to know when I'd be coming back. I had that summer to think about it, and Dad was a little bit ambivalent. Mom was on my side with this principle: I don't want to play football anymore. I'm too small. Oh, by the way, our team's not that good. I prefer basketball and baseball, and I will play those things. I don't want to play football. But I don't want to be the one to tell the coaches, because I'm afraid they'll take it out on me in basketball and baseball. And yes, that's how things work. So who is my ally? Mom. So the big coach, Bud Burrows, was calling and gonna make a run, because I said, I want to play, but my mom won't let me play.
You did one of those numbers.
I did a little ole. Well, let me talk to your mom. Okay. I went home and I said, Mom, Coach Burrows is calling you, and you have got to be strong. Oh, you've got to be strong. And it's got to be your idea, not mine. Anyway, we had a passionate back and forth, and she's like, I got it. It's okay. Yeah, I don't want you to play, So I remember sitting on the couch, Mom sitting in the chair, Coach Burrows calls, and watching and listening to that back and forth. I can remember it to this day. It was a pretty long call, and Mom was the Rock of Gibraltar. Coach, I'm not going to let him play. He wants to play. I'm not going to let him play. His arm was snapped in 2 places. He's not that big. Yes, he started to grow, but it's going to be a long time before he can play. And Coach Burrows is saying it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And Mom's saying, yeah, he's got a lot of fight, but he's a small dog, and we're not going to risk him getting his neck broken. And it was back and forth and back and forth. And I was like this, because I couldn't hear what Coach Burrows was saying. And finally, at the end of it, she said, yes, if I change my mind, I'll call you back. Then she hung up and she looked at me and she said, it's done. And I felt a surge of relief. They talked to me for the next 3 years. When are you going to be able to play football again? When are you going to play football again? My mom still won't let me. That was all the way until I was a senior. So, you know, we have a mom who would go to bat for you.
Yeah.
And one of her famous statements, I remember it, if you don't go to bat for your kids, who will? She wasn't rude about it, and she wasn't a helicopter parent, I didn't think.
No.
But if there was a wrong, she would voice her opinion. Another episode I remember in high school, I was in an advanced math class, thanks to Buffalo, got me a little ahead. Probably didn't belong in the class, but nevertheless, had a final. The varsity baseball coach kept us long, probably a full hour longer than he should have on a night when we had finals the next day. And Mom called the principal. I mean, I didn't know. And so I went to practice, and Coach Iyer said, Mark, the next time your mom has a problem, could you tell her to call me instead of calling the principal? And I went home and I was like, Mom, she's like, that was wrong of him to keep you guys on the night of finals, you know. And so she would go to bat. She'd voice her opinion on some things. And if a kid was getting bullied, if one of her kids was getting bullied, she was going to jump in the middle of it. And that's kind of how she was.
She would go to Mama Bear mode.
She would go to Mama Bear.
Go to bat for us.
That's true. Yeah.
I think in that situation, she was more comfortable talking to Bud Burrows than Dad would have been.
Yeah.
And he was no shrinking violet. But the football stuff didn't impress her. She was a cute, don't pay the bills, it doesn't matter to me. Dad was interested in us, you know, having political clout through athletic performance, and probably wouldn't have said the things Mom said.
Yeah.
Dad had more identity in the sports and Mom didn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. She would sometimes say, you know, you respect those coaches more than you respect, you know, other leaders or whatever. And she was right. You know, she taught respect, like we should have been respectful, but she didn't want us to worship them like they were like mini gods.
Yeah.
That was special.
And she took that stance pretty hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.